Yeah, he's got armpit hair, among other things. Nope. Hey you, I saw you hop on my stream just as I left to go drop my daughter off at my mom's. Oh, actually, this is the second time today. No, that's right, the first time I tried to do it in, like, OBS and everything else was going to be such a freaking... The Streamlabs OBS, when I first tried it, I really liked it. Like, it would check the system and my internet connection and everything else and set things up so that hold on. Can you do video chat on your phone? No, I don't have an iPhone. I have an Android. Well, I was gonna say, it's like I started streaming again. Oh, are you there now? So, I'm streaming now. Someone's tapping. I'm moving my camera. Woo! Okay. That's the one thing I splurged on. I don't know if you can see it yet. There's a heck of a freaking lag on my live stream. Holy cow, there's a heck of a lag. But so, the camera setup that I have, and it's not 100% stable. It's a clamp that clamps to your desk or table, and oh my god, it was already, oh my god. Anyway, I don't know what's going on. Oh, yeah. Hold on. Anyway. Yeah, no, if you need to have over 40,000, no, 4,000 hours of watch time and 1K subscribers. Yeah, I was having that problem too because, what it is if any of the accounts are limited or haven't been logged into, and I think it's like 3 months or something like that. Anyway, I have to look back up on the thing. If the accounts aren't used on a regular basis, they count them as inactive accounts and they don't count for subscribership. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, trust me. The only time, see, I use a service called If This Then That, IFTT, and any post that you see, like to my group account, is through that. I haven't actually logged into Facebook and all that. Oh my god, that's crazy. Oh my gosh. Oh Lord. Word. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I just defeat the wolf god.
Right. Oh my god, I hate when that happens. Sorry. I don't even know what that is. Because I really don't care what's popular on the internet anymore. I am so eyeball deep in the things that I'm doing at work that I just know. Like, my company's going through paperwork audit for its managerial processes. And I'm not an upper manager, and I can't write these policies. But I have to. So, we're, like, next week is our external audit, and my eyelid twitches every time I think about it. So, right now, because I have 10 hours of my life that's missing because of commuting. And it's not like when I was living in Philly with my ex, living out in Norristown, an hour away from the city. No. I could hop a bus to a train, and while I'm on the train, I could do things. Like, I could draw, I could read, I could, I could do things. So that hour wasn't completely wasted in the commute. The most that I do is listen to audiobooks. Like, I tried to do live streaming for my cell phone, but my cell phone just decided that it's not going to work anymore like that. So, yeah, but I would have to have a self-driving car to do that. That's nuts. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh my god. Yeah, there's a disconnect. Yeah, there's a massive disconnect, and that's something that I've seen in doing a lot of user experience design work. I've come across that where people just don't, they just don't get it. And they're like, oh, well, I never thought. And it's like, well, yeah, that's the problem. You didn't think. Like, if you had actually thought outside of your personal experience, this wouldn't be a problem anymore. But no. Right. Yeah. The world is... Oh, that's awesome. Oh, she deserves it. She's really good. That's awesome. That's awesome. Furry god uncle. Oh my god, that's hilarious. Yeah. Well, I'm sure because Thundercats is like a staple. It's from my childhood, from your childhood. And there's a lot of people who are gonna be like, don't do it, don't change it. Now, who's the animation company that's doing it? Because I haven't seen anything about it yet. Oh, shit. I mean, ooh, crap, I'm streaming. I can't be saying stuff like that. Really? Oh, it is. Wait, it shouldn't be. Right? Testing. I hope they didn't make it completely true, because that's what they did to Danger Mouse. They went from a really, like, because Danger Mouse for its time was, like, quote-unquote edgy, because it was, like, a spy kind of thing. Right. Really? Properties. Hold on. I'm gonna try something. Oh, it's on default, so it's probably because I'm all the way across, away from where the mic actually is. Let's see if this works. Is this better? Oh, dang, I clipped.
I mean, I can hear you a little bit. It's very muffled.
Yeah, hold on. Give it a minute, because there's at least like a 30-second delay. Because watch, I'll snap my fingers. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, 14, 15. Yeah, it's about a 15-second delay. There we go.
Yeah, God, she's full of glory.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up?
Yeah.
Right.
You got the range right now, but I'm all fucking.
Right. Mm-hmm. You know what? When it comes to politics and stuff like that, I've always tried to keep a neutral view on a lot of things. Because anytime you get really excitable or upset or whatever about a particular thing, the rational part of the brain shuts down. People stop thinking. You know? And that's where you end up, yeah, the amygdala hijacks everything. And that's where you get people that end up on one extreme of something or to the other. Like, I can't even call myself a feminist anymore. Because... Right. It should be about, you know, equality. But at the same time, the push for feminism is so strong still that men's rights are being ignored. What is it called again? TAO? Right. Oh, yeah, you know what? I have read a little bit of that, and that really does. There's a lot of it that I kind of jive with. So. Mm-hmm. Energy. Yeah. Oh my God, right.
I know, but I still won.
Yeah. Right. Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like millennials versus, what do they call it, Generation Z? Because of their age spectrum, yeah. Oh, shit. Right. Well, it's like me. I was born right at, I guess it's right shortly around the cutoff, 77. I was born in the cutoff. But this is funny because when they go to categorize millennials, because I embraced technology earlier than most of my peers, I actually fit into the categorization of a millennial because of their behaviors and things like that, because what defines the millennials tends to be that embracement of technology. Right. No, but because I was right there at that edge, because depending on who you talk to about where the cutoff for a baby boomer is, it was in the mid-70s. So I'm on that tail end, and it's kind of funny because and it just happened to be because of the fact that my mom's the youngest out of her family, of her siblings. My oldest aunt grew up with poodle skirts. My mom grew up a hippie. You see, because my mom was born to her mom, my grandmother, when she was in her 40s. My kids are having the same sort of thing going on because I waited to have kids, which is funny because my niece, even though my sister is younger than me, she had a kid earlier than I did by a lot. And now my niece is an adult. My niece is technically in the millennials, right? So we have that. But so funny. But the thing is that even though me and my sister generationally within our family, right, we're one generation and our kids are the next one, socially, society based, my kids are in or just, yeah, they're within the Gen Z. Yeah. Not as much as you, because you can speak other languages. I had that limitation. Oh my God, ICQ. Right. Right.
Overkill. Overkill.
Right. Yeah. Oh, and everybody's talking down on the millennials, like the millennials are lazy and the millennials are this, and the millennials actually right. 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 No, we have like a capitalist tyranny. What's it called? Like a monetary or financial oligarchy or something like that. Yeah, don't get me started. I realized this reality years ago, and people would just roll their eyes at me, especially my ex, because it was like, yeah, I was like, this sucks. We're corporate slaves, and everybody roll their eyes, just work. It's like they're like, well, just do your job, and I'm like, really? You're gonna really? Whatever. Yeah, I found it on, like, I was hunting around forever for traditional animation supplies because you can't find them. And I found one website that would sell them, including the little paper supporters, right? But the website hadn't been updated since 2015, and I didn't want to put an order in for not getting anything because the site's dead. You know what I mean? Because that happens. And so what I ended up doing is I kit bashed this thing. I don't know if you actually saw it. This is really cool. So this is an LED flat light table. Right? So underneath this is a regular clipboard. the clipboard. So I taped the clipboard to my table so that it wouldn't move. Taped to my table so it wouldn't move. And I have it so that the clip at the top is holding the light table still. So then I figured out I think that's a 12 frame. Like, I actually found a 12 frame and traced it. And so I have my X in the middle for my registration, the corner registration mark. Because the first time I did this, I didn't have the peg bar. So then I got the peg bar, and I decided to tape it to the bottom of the clipboard. I have an animation table now. So, oh, you have the puncher still? Those things are like antique and hard to find. Yeah. Oh yeah, they have peg bars that are 3-hole rounds. Yeah. I was actually looking for that because I wanted to punch my own paper, and I couldn't find, because this traditional one has the 2 flats in the round, and I'm looking for the 3 rounds, and they make them, but I can't find where.
I need a laser pointer.
No, they don't have them on Amazon. Not the 3 round. They have these. This came from China. God bless China and them producing things that are completely obsolete nowadays, because people over there are awesome. Seriously. Yeah, this one that I got was actually less than that. It was like $7, and it's metal. But when I got it, it was slightly tweaked, so I had to warm it up and bend it flat. Well, yeah, in Google, but the last time I checked Google, it sent me back to, the site that didn't get updated since. I am so glad I numbered these damn things, because I know I'm freaking lost. Oh, those are expensive. Yeah, you need... This is like $300-400 or some shit like that. Yeah. Yeah, but the downside is that you get the disc, but you don't get the table. So you'd need to cut a hole into something and put the disc in. B1, B2, and then it starts to C. I've been listening to A&B Animation, or A&B Academy, C, C2, C3, C4, C6. Oh yeah, I love Aaron Blaze. C6. Oh yeah. Really? Oh my god. Well, Glenn Keane, the last time I checked, he's working on a Dragon... Yeah, but he's working on a Dragon Quest? That game that he made. But he's working on a movie. Mm-hmm. Oh wait, no, I'm thinking that's not Glenn Keane. I'm thinking about something else. The other one. I should know these animators' names. Like, I feel like such a crappy animator because I don't know the top names. That's it, Don Bluth. Don Bluth. Don Bluth. Really? Something's changed in how he's been expressing himself. Yeah. What, did they get a better gig somewhere else? Mm-mm. Mm-mm. He's becoming more and more of a public figure in certain circles. So he has to walk that very thin political line now, which sucks. You know what's messed up? You know what I found out? The guy who animated Timmy Turner and the Fairly Godparents just got hired by Cartoon Network. So I don't know if there's some kind of shift in things. Did they say why they left? And it's been far too long since I've done proper animation. I've never been properly taught how to do it. I did the SAC lesson, but the SAC lesson happened in my 3D class. But all we did was we did the basic bouncing ball where it bounced in place on a cycle, and we had to repeat it like 4 times, and then the cross the paper, like cross the screen bouncing ball. I did that one first, and I realized that my timing was really bad. And then AMB, Arshad, AMB Academy. Oh my god. So he was doing a thing on timing. Anytime he does animation, like character animation and whatnot, he'll talk about timing. And he did, one of his live streams was just on timing, and things started to gel. I still don't get the timing chart quite. Like, I can read it now, whereas before I'd look at it and go, what the freak is this scribble? Because that's not stuff that, like, I remember learning that in, not Linda's class, the other one. The blonde that looked like me. That teacher. Not Dana. Not Linda. The other one. She was blonde and looked like me. And there was one day I had a class with her. And I was coming in. She was going out. And we almost crashed. We froze. Looked up at each other. And went, shit. Because it was like almost like a mirror image kind of reaction. Except she was like an inch, 2 inches taller than me. And we were both had ponytails. And we both stared at each other for a minute. And she goes, so your name's Hope. And I'm like, yeah. And she's like, people keep thinking I'm you. And I was like, I can see why. Yeah, there was the other one. I can't remember what her name is now. And it's terrible because she was one of my favorites. Dana was okay. Linda was, but she actually taught me more. And she was the one, I was doing a werewolf walk cycle because we had to do a 2-foot walk cycle and a 4-foot walk cycle or run cycle. Right? So I decided I was going to do a werewolf walking on 2 legs and then falling forward and galloping. And I was heavily referencing our books, right? And she's like, hold up a minute. And she's like, did you trace? And I'm like, I was so pissed because I worked so hard to do that and do it right? And I was like, no. And she's like, are you sure? And she's like, I've seen you with that book. And I was like, yeah, I've been heavily referencing it. So we take the book out and she realized that the run cycle was basically, what was it? It was Pluto's, kind of. And that character was going from the left to the right. I was going from the right to the left, and when we went frame by frame, she realized that I had offset the feet slightly. And I was like, yeah, I didn't want to copy the cycle. And she's like, so you drew that? And I was like, yeah. And she's like, you drew that? And I was like, yeah. And then she's like, huh. And then another one I had for her, we were doing, no, I had Dana. And this is one of the reasons why I don't have an issue, is we had to do another walk cycle. We had to do it a little bit more of a personality. And, of course, my idiot self left it till the last freaking minute going, it's a walk cycle, whatever. And then one of my classmates, said, no, you had to do 2. And I was like, 2? He's like, yeah, you had to do a side walk cycle and then a frontal walk cycle. And I was like, in the same animation. And he goes, I guess if you wanted to. And I was like, hold on. Oh, crap. Okay, this is more work than I thought it was going to be. So I started with the legs so I could get the legs right. Because, again, nobody at that school taught me to do, like, the underdrawing of the character first. Like, the real rough cut. And then layer on top of it. I learned that from Kyle. And that was, like, a year after I had already gone through most of my animation classes. You know, this is one of those things that didn't gel. And I was like, oh my god. So all I had was the bottom half of the character. I didn't have arms. I didn't have a head. It had a bounce. Like, the leg walk cycle was fine. It was just pants. Like, I drew pants. They had belt loops and everything. Not entirely, but they could have been better. I remember that. I remember you having his classes at night. Like, you'd come back raving. Oh my god, you'd be so angry. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, I had an early morning class like that where the teacher didn't show up until like a half an hour, 45 minutes after. And we're all just hanging out. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, the U of Arts probably would have been... The U of Arts probably wouldn't have been a better overall quality, but... Yeah, that's the downside to it. Yeah, it totally makes sense. You know, I had the same problem, but in reverse with my 3D classes. I would get there early. I would get there so freaking early. I would get there an hour early, 2 hours early, and there'd still be a line. And by the time I got up there to register for classes, I'd have Bomberman. And I can't complain about him too much because when I had him for the lighting and rendering class, things clicked. Because his approach, he didn't have tutorials to go off of. He had to explain things himself. And he understood it enough. But you know how you understand it enough to do it, but not enough to explain it? I think that was his situation. Because they didn't have a lot of 3D animation teachers. Right? They just didn't. So... Explain it, because I have never heard of that before. And the steps, yeah. Right. Right. Yeah. Right. Mm-hmm. Yay, Kyle. Yeah, I told somebody, he's like, yeah, I know Kyle Carzo, so I went to school with him, and they're like, no. It's like, yeah, if he, I don't know if he lists Art Institute as his college. I was like, we went to the same college. Like, I know this guy. I don't know him well. I don't know if I can call him friend per se, because we didn't really get that close, you know, because he was always busy and I was always butterflying around like I did. I mean, I was everywhere, up in everybody else's business, and you know, he was doing his work. Yeah, and I was in everybody else's entourage except Kyle's. Yeah, I noticed. No, I didn't realize that happened until right around about the time that I went back to visit my high school and all my buddies from high school that were still in high school. And I was like, so what happened to lunch day? I was like, oh, we got into a fight and split up. And I'm like, boink. I was like, hold on. So I was the glue keeping everybody together? And they were like, yeah. Oh. Wow, okay. And then I started noticing it, little here, little there. And I'm like, what's going on? At one point, we were in the dorms. And this was when I was living with you guys. And there was a party, and I had invited a bunch of people over to go to this thing that was going on in the dorms with Tess and everybody. They were doing DDR. They were, you know, down in the common area. There was like a pool match and a whole bunch of other things. And what ended up happening is my ex, Mike, Anthony, Prayfar, right, and a couple other people were there, and I had to go get something, and I turned around to say, oh, by the way, and when I did, there was a line of guys, and they were all staring at me with this weird look on their face, and I'm like, okay, I'm awkward all of a sudden. Why are you smiling like that? And they all grinned at the same time, and I'm like, what the heck? They're clones. Oh my god. And I just went, I'll be back, and took off. I was like, what is this? Freaking aliens. People have turned into aliens. But yeah. But no, I need to get my art and design and stuff out in the world, because I was afraid of posting stuff because of all the stupid drama and the theft and everything that was happening. And I just didn't... Yeah, you know what? My one counselor that had been coming over to the house, it was like a program that me and the kids were on, but it only like lasted 6 months because that's the way the funding was. She said after talking to me and seeing me and how I fluctuated depending on different stressors, she said that she thought that maybe I had PTSD. Because she wanted to categorize me as manic depressive, but then she wanted to categorize me as like ADHD. And then she's like, but there are some days where you're just completely calm and neutral and for all intents and purposes normal, but when you talk to me about what's going on, it's like you've bottled up everything emotionally and you're being rational about something that's really terrible. And I was like, that's not the way you're supposed to be. You know? And she's like, it really, you need to go see a regular, you know, therapist, like a regular therapist to check this. But she said it looked to her, based on her information, that I was like that borderline area for PTSD, which makes sense because some of the things that I dealt with growing up with my family just, it wasn't just the family, it was the environment, it was where I went to school, it was the borderline racism that ran through the community. Like, it wasn't obvious, but you could see it by how people acted toward each other. Like, that separation was still there, even though people tried to treat people as people, but then you'd hear certain things muttered under breath and stuff like that. It's like, it's not PC to say this, but that's just how I feel, that kind of thing. Yeah, right. I actually met a North Jerseyan on the train in Philly. He's like, you're from North Jersey? Cool, I'm from South Jersey. And he stared at me. I'm like, what? It's like, I thought that was cool. North meets South. No. Oh my God. Oh my God, yeah, let's not even, oh my God. And yet, neighbors don't know each other, and nobody cares about each other, and... Oh my God, right. Oh my God, right. Painkillers. Painkillers. Or, like, I think before I left and came down to Florida, I think the one thing that was, it was, prescription, antidepressants like Xanax. And I'm like, seriously? You can get addicted to Xanax? Okay. Like, that was my reaction going, okay. Mm-hmm. Oh my God, my freaking sorry, I'm complaining about my volume control right now. Stupid ball. 50. Yeah, 50 mile, I've heard. Yeah, but it was justified. I swear to God, this ball is going to be shrinking and growing the entire time. Like, I'm not doing this the right way. I should be flipping it. Yeah. What was it? I actually found, and it's really cool, but I don't have it right now. I have a mechanical pencil that has non-photo blue lead in it.
Oh, you have a non-repro?
Yeah. Well, I bought the not, because there's this lead you can find on Amazon that's different colors, like red, yellow, green. Like all the color erase colors, right? And I was like, is it really color erase colors, or is that just what it looks like on my webpage? I wonder. So I bought the little refill for the non-photo blue, and I emptied out one of my mechanical pencils, and I put it in there, and I was like, it's non-photo blue, woo! But of course, when I use it, I can't see it. I'm like staring at the paper going, there it is. Okay. Darken it in. But then I found one of my old color erase red pencils, and I was like, I need to get more of these. So. Okay. I need to do this the right way. Hold on. I need to get back into the thing is that this is face flat and it's not upright, so it's hard because I have to lean over. Oh my God, I am having such volume control issues. Oh my God, that is so the wrong size. Oh, Derwent, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, Derwent are color pencils. Yeah, because they're not. I don't think their wint is wax based.
Okay.
So, like, you know how you can test that? Get a scrap of paper and do like a color gradient on it with the pencil, and then take some rubbing alcohol, like regular household rubbing alcohol, on a Q-tip, and then try to blend it. If it blends easily, it has a wax base. If it kind of gets weird looking when you try to blend it or doesn't blend at all, it's not wax based. You can do it with a Crayola. You can do it with a Crayola. I actually called Crayola one time and I was like, I know you can't tell me your recipe, but is it a wax base? And they say, let me talk to corporate for a minute. We'll call you back. And about 3 hours later, they called me back and was like, yes, there's wax in it, but we can't tell you what the percentage is. But it should work with the alcohol-based technique for blending. I have it from Crayola. Then there's just probably a clay base then. Yep. Yeah. Because they tend to be used more often than not in things like life drawing and whatnot because of the quality of them. It's kind of like how Conte crayons, you don't find them with colored pencils, you find them with the graphite, but they're Conte. Yeah. Yeah. Oh my god, I know, and they're so horribly expensive. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. One of the things that I want to get, because one of the things in animation that I was really fascinated by is effects animation, like winds, book turning pages, bricks falling, you know, things like that. The things that they're not character animation, but it's still part of animation. Like animating the grass blowing or like waves washing up on the beach. Things like that have always absolutely fascinated me. How it's like you have to really understand physics, but you also have to really, really understand that persistence of vision thing when it comes to animation. Because if you do too many frames or not enough frames, you can see it. You can see the overdrawing or the underdrawing. And if you get it just right, people are like, oh wow, that was a really good water drop, you know. Hey, that looks like real rain, you know. And that's where I want to go. But instead of just going, oh, well, I have an animation degree, I can animate. When I started going to AMV streams, I'm like, you know what? It's been several years. And I'm like, I could probably do this digitally, but I have this nostalgia thing going on right now. I just want to draw. Yes. And Pena. Yeah. Yeah, right. Oh, that reminds me. Oh, where'd it go? I thought it was. Oh, did it fall down behind there? I was going to this artist. I found a couple artists online on Twitch, and the group of them decided to get together and start doing studies. And I was like, oh, I gotta do that. It was like on Thursdays or whatever. And then they moved it to Wednesdays, and I don't know where it is. But we were doing human skeletons, and I was like, you know what? I haven't painted in a while, and I have a couple extra canvases. I'm going to challenge myself. Because the couple that I did, I need to find that sketchbook. But the couple that I did in my sketchbook, I actually was pretty surprised at myself. I was like, oh shit, I still have it. And they were like, wow, that's really good. And I'm like, no, actually, this isn't really good. It's good, but it's not where I could be, you know what I mean? And it's just me being realistic. Oh, is it this one? Oh, hold on. I'm gonna have an avalanche here. This is it. No, of course now I can't find it. Hey, Leon?
Yeah.
Can you go out to the car real quick and get my backpack? Anyway. So, what I was saying is I ended up doing a couple, graphite drawings. And I got a couple good compliments. One of them, because of how I was holding the book, the skull ended up really elongated. Because as I was looking at it flat instead of upright, I drew it over elongated. So when you look at it flat from a distance, it looks correct.
My mom wanted me to get her backpack.
It's on the floor. Oh, thank you. But then I decided I'm going to try to paint skulls. So, and then I asked him, I was like, so where did you get these from? And he was like, what do you mean? And he was like, for copyright's sake, because we're all drawing from these pictures. Oh, we found them on Pinterest. I'm like, okay. I'll have to go and try to look these up so I can give, proper credit and all. Nothing against them. They were just, it was for practice. And when I brought that up, they were like, yeah, don't try to sell any of these practice pieces because that's what they are, practice. And I was like, yeah, good one. Okay, here it is. Again, there's a delay. Ponies. So, it's about a 15-second delay. So this was back in January. So it was my first skull from a photo. And then this one was in charcoal. So, and this is the one where if you look at it straight on, it looks like an alien skull. But let's see if I can. Okay, I just tilted it. There you go. You see, it looks normal like that. So I did an acrylic one and I painted it and it came out amazing. And I was like, holy shit, that's a painting I would love to like just, sell. And I was like, but I can't because it's based off of somebody else's photograph. Oh, those are cool. that rat head. Now, it's not cheating, it's a technique. Right.
Darn it.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my god, so there was this, there's another YouTuber I follow, he went to a German art school, and he can do portraits of people, like, realistic, like, we're talking down to the eyelash detail, and skin textures, and all kinds of stuff like that, and he went into art school, and his teachers kept failing him, and he's like, I have anatomy skills, I know how to draw and paint, and all this other stuff, I have these skills, and they kept failing him, because he wasn't producing, quote-unquote, art. So they're like, art is about feeling, it's about emotion, it's about, you know, being abstract and all this. And I was like, that's a type of art. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, sometimes people are just stubborn. Right. Yeah, I have a BS. I have a BS and I have a bullshit degree. So much. You know why? You know why they do that? You know what? I can tell you. It's a marketing gimmick. Because they can claim that Kyle, being as successful as he is at cartoon, yeah, and they can claim that it's because of them when it was he already had a whole bunch of knowledge. Hi, I'm streaming.
Is there a lag?
15 seconds. Mm-hmm. Oh my god, I know. Right. What? 10-15 minutes, maybe? If that. Sorry, my... Technically. Yeah, I remember she was in our dorm room that one night and almost flipped the table, and we were both there and we were both talking her down and being calm, and yep. And we had warned her that he was no good, but she saw the good in him, and well, he probably was a nice person, but any kind of addiction has a selfish quality to it. And so when it comes down to it, if someone's that deeply hooked on something, sadly, it's that need that comes first. And I've seen this I don't know how many times, and I've fought with this I don't know how many times, and I've watched certain family members of mine go through the stages of it. I nearly got drug in as, you know, collateral damage because of it. And it's just, when you look back on it, you can see that that the need is overpowering even the nicest, most genuinely awesome person. It's just overpowering them. And it's that selfish need to get that next dose. And it's sad. Yes, there is a stigma with it too. Oh, I know he does. Oh, I know he does. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it's not gonna happen. It's a weakness. I think, and this is just my own theory, it's a weakness thing. I mean, I could be completely wrong, because I'm not a specialist. But I've seen this time and again. It's like, men have to be so strong, and they have to be so fit, and they have to be so this, and so, kind of like women. They have to be so thin, and so pretty, and so, guys have to be like, show absolutely no weakness. And it's like, you're human. Why can't, yeah, it's totally unrealistic. It's like, why can't you just be human? Just be human. Yeah, but that vulnerability is usually shown at home. I don't know. This society in general is just so broken right now.
It is so broken and needlessly. Like, I remember
I have a feeling that I've mistimed all this. Because it's supposed to be slowing down, and there's actually fewer frames I've drawn. But the fewer frames means the faster it goes. That doesn't... My eyelid's twitching. Timing has always been my biggest barrier.
what, timing?
Timing.
The thing with timing, I struggle with it myself. You just have to keep doing it to get it right. You have to feel it. Because if you try and think it through, a lot of people won't always feel it. It's the only advice I can get. When people ask me for like certain things, it's just like trial and error just to get it. But sometimes when it feels right, that it is. When I try to think about it too much or over intellectualize it, it's just going to work out.
Yeah.
I'm not doubting it. I thought it was like definitely doubting it. Whereas there's times where that's nice, and I feel like as humans we want to think things through or rationalize things through, when actually it's just for art, you will feel it.
Yeah. I think for me, it's like once I get, especially when it comes to paper animation, once I get to a point where, you know, while I'm animating it, I'm not seeing it. I'm seeing the individual drawings, and I'm not seeing the sequence. And that's where I'm going wrong, is I'm not seeing the sequence for what it is. But once I get all the frames in there, which is I probably do better with digital animation rather than traditional, like hand-drawn traditional. Because then I can see it in progress as I go. But I don't know if that's a crutch or not.
Okay, say this again.
When I'm doing hand-drawn animation like I am now, I realize that I have fewer frames, and I know logistically the fewer frames you have, the faster something moves. So I know I have a logistics problem here, and that my animation, once I scan it all in and go through that whole rigmarole, I'm going to end up needing more in-betweens. Now, if I knew my timing and did it correctly and charted everything out like I'm supposed to, I wouldn't have this problem as much. But I haven't gotten to that level of skill yet. So, but once I scan everything in, and I get it like into Photoshop or whatever program I decide to use, and I put them in frame by frame, and I can adjust the time on it, I can get it correct. But it's almost like I'm using it as a crutch, because I can see where I made the mistakes, but I can't seem to see it before I make the mistakes. Does that make sense? Yeah. Dragon frame? Did it go through? Hold on. You know what? I love you, darling. You're getting made a mod just because. Okay, try it now. It's just the setting on the chat. There you go. You're now a mod on my channel. Woo! Yeah. Oh my god, look at the whole setup that they have. Holy shit. Pardon my language. Yeah. So you could use your webcam with this.
Yeah, but you can use anything. Do you have a DSLR?
No, I don't have a DSLR. It's one of the few things I haven't gotten yet. Right. Right. I remember that. Oh man, I remember that, and I think Jason at one point had heard that and he just rolled his eyes. Yeah, Aaron, yeah. Oh my god. I need to clear out my when I was with my ex, I was doing belly dancing and I liked it, but I wasn't seeing toning that I knew was going on because I was still so significantly overweight. And I think that was in part due to stress hormones. But what ended up happening is, I know you want to go back to Grandma's. J2. Is everything okay? But I wasn't seeing anything that was going on, and I had gotten into belly dancing through a mutual friend of my ex and me, who is a really great person and a counselor, like certified counselor. or therapist, or I'm not sure what the difference is between them, to be honest, because that wasn't my career path. So, right. Oh my God. I know. You know, I've seen that. Yeah. Yeah. Or they think they're faking it or whatever. Yeah, I hear you. Lan had it.
Man.
Yeah. Yeah. Paychecks are what they are. The next thing that I have planned, I actually have a really rough storyboard. I have to finish it. It's a bouncing ball animation, except it starts out with this really nice landscape, you know, basic one, little mountains, few trees, a little river, and then there's this bright shine way up in the atmosphere, and you zoom in on it, and it's this spheroid that's just rocketing towards the earth. And then it zooms back out and you can see it coming closer, and then it hits a bird, and that's the first bounce. and you see the bird go like it goes, and then you see something fall and hit the ground as the ball kind of goes from the bird, does the arch, but it's like kind of a shallow arch because it skipped off the bird, and it goes across. Oh, this is my nephew. He's the second oldest between me and my sister.
I don't know where the camera is.
Yeah.
Oh, it's right there. Hi.
And he just had the cat attack my leg because he's a jerk. Yeah, he's got a laser pointer. Yeah, we are related. You can tell. Yeah, it was actually funny because when his father and my sister were still together. Oh! Speaking jerk. Here, take it. I'm not mad at you. You were just chasing after a little red dot bug. Don't even. He'll jump off a wall. But my at the time my brother-in-law came up to me and he goes, "My wife cheated on me," and I'm like, "Huh?" He's like, "Where's this coming from?" And I'm like, "Okay," and he's like, "Yeah, with you," and I'm like, "Boink, what? What are you talking about? One, that's kind of gross, and two, you're really mad. So what's going on?" He's like, "Have you seen my son?" I was like, "My nephew? No." And he's like, "Come here." So we go into the house, and there's this little tiny baby all wrapped up, and I'm like, well, dang, ain't he almost albino? Because my brother-in-law is Puerto Rican, you know, straight from the island kind of thing. Well, his mom was straight from the island. He was born in the United States. And his, you know, their daughter, my niece, has all the best traits from both mom and dad. She's tall, she's very lithe, she's very muscular. Much like her dad, she's got this whipcord body with this rope knot kind of musculature. And that's just her physique, that's just how she is, right? Well, you saw my nephew, he's got that same build. He's strong, but he's like lean. You know what I mean? Like almost like a cheetah. Like where me and my sister are more like, you know, lions or like, you know, draft horses, right? Juan was more like, he was built more like a cheetah, you know? And both the kids picked that up from him. So my niece, she's got the darker hair, like it's a light brown. It's got highlights of blonde and red in it. And she has the complexion where she could go either as a light-skinned Hispanic or a very well-tanned Caucasian, right? Like, it's one of those, the gradient in between, you know, depending on what group of people she's with. So, most people who first meet her, if they're with a group of Caucasians, they don't believe that she's Hispanic. Yeah, genetics are weird like that, and she's absolutely gorgeous. Like there are times I look at her and go, "Dang, girl, you got the best of everything. I'm jealous." But my nephew ended up looking, he's platinum blonde. How? You know, like how? Like I can understand that me and my sister have a bunch of the recessive traits, the blue eyes, the blonde hair, the super pale skin, all that sort of stuff, right? But, like, both of my kids, and Sean was dark hair, dark eyed too. He was comes from the line of dark Irish, right? So I was hoping at least one of my kids would come out, if not with my hair, then with my eyes. Both of them. My son turned dark brown. He came out blonde with blue eyes that stayed until he was about 5.5 years old, and then they started to shift, and now they're kind of like a strange hazel combination, which is absolutely beautiful. But his right, but it didn't, because I don't think I don't know if Sean had the recessive gene or not, if it was just a fluke of genetics that it never crossed over, you know. My daughter is a dark strawberry blonde. Like, if you put her next to someone with brown hair, you see it. You see the blonde, you see the strawberry. You put her next to me, she looks brown-haired. So, she's adorable. She's adorable. She got my attitude too. My son has my wit and my sarcasm. Yeah. At least my son has been diagnosed that way, yes. Iona's been that way since the beginning. Art. Lan, he likes art. He does very well with art. But he tends to get really excited and really into building and projects and figuring things out. But he has a low tolerance for failure. And I need to help him get past that because... Yeah. Right. But with everything that's going on in the kids' lives, it's just one failure after another. After a while, you just go, this isn't going to work. And it's that kind of mentality because every time things start going good, something happens.
Mom, what gender is Tigger?
Tigger's a boy. Yeah. Almost done. That's cute. Right. I have to wonder if something didn't happen. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if that candle will light. My nephew's playing with fire again.
Yeah.
It's a family trait. Pyromania. Mild pyromania.
Fire,
Dragon souls. Yeah. Runs in the family.
So it's kind of weird.
It is fascinating. I've been told that like I was working with a friend of one of my earlier roommates, Sammy. She's awesome. And what ended up happening, hold on, I'm coming to the end of my thing. K2, K3, that's supposed to be K4. Oh, my numbering's off. But when she and I got together in college, it was like everything worked. Like, I was getting my homework done, she was getting, you know, good grades. Like, she was a Sagittarius and I'm an Aries. Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end. Like, we would inspire each other and we would complete projects. After she left, everything went downhill for me and I struggled. Until I ended up in the dorm with you guys, which then it was a balanced, all the different signs all together in one. And it was a challenge at times because the negatives of the crosswise signs would, you know, happen. But we all could balance each other. And that helped, but it wasn't quite the same oomph. You know what I mean? So